An exchange rate quote can look like one number, but a money transfer can contain several moving parts. The rate determines how one currency becomes another. A fee can change how much money is actually converted. Timing can change which rate applies. The clearest comparison is therefore not a rate floating by itself. It is the amount the recipient is shown to receive under the same fictional starting conditions. Imagine Omar studying a classroom transfer illustration. He starts with AED 1000 and wants to understand an AED to euro quote. Every number in this lesson is invented for arithmetic practice, it is not a live market rate or a real provider offer. The classroom reference rate is 0.25 euro for each dirham. The fictional provider rate is 0.24 euro for each dirham. The provider also deducts a fixed AED 20 fee from the AED 1000 before converting the remainder. First, establish the reference picture. At 0.25 euro per dirham, AED 1000 multiplied by 0.25 equals 250 euros. This reference is not a promise that anyone can receive 250 euros. It is simply a clean benchmark that lets the later differences remain visible. The unit matters, 25 cents per AED means each dirham and the conversion base produces 1/4 of a euro. Now isolate the rate effect before adding the fee. If the full AED 1000 were converted at the provider's rate of 0.24, the result would be 240 euros. The difference between 250 euros and 240 euros is 10 euros. That gap comes from the rate spread in this illustration. The numerical spread is 1 cent per AED. Across 1000 dirhams, 0.01 multiplied by 1000 becomes 10 euros. Next, follow the stated fee placement. The fictional AED 20 fee is deducted from the send amount before conversion. AED 1000 minus AED 20 leaves AED 980 as the conversion base. This distinction prevents a common reading error. The provider rate is not being applied to all AED 1000 in this quote. It is being applied to the AED 980 that remains after the fee. Other transfer structures may place or charge fees differently, which is why the fee position belongs in the comparison. Convert the actual base. AED 980 multiplied by 0.24 euro per dirham equals 235 euros and 20 cents. That is the recipient amount in the fictional quote. The arithmetic exposes every operand. AED 1000 starts the illustration, AED 20 is deducted, AED 980 is converted, 24 cents per AED is the conversion rate, and 235 euros and 20 cents is delivered. Nothing needs to be hidden inside a headline percentage. A simple waterfall reconciles the result. The reference amount is 250 euros. Applying the provider rate to the original AED 1000 would produce 240 euros, a 10 euros rate effect. Deducting the AED 20 fee before conversion removes another 4 euros and 80 cents of potential recipient value at the provider rate, because AED 20 multiplied by 0.24 equals 4 euros and 80 cents. 240 euros minus 4 euros and 80 cents equals 235 euros and 20 cents. The total gap from the classroom reference is therefore 14 euros and 80 cents. Notice what this comparison does not claim. It does not label every spread as unfair, identify a best provider, or predict tomorrow's currency market. A provider can describe costs in different ways, and a live rate can move with time. A fixed fee also has a different proportional effect on different send amounts. The lesson is narrower, rate, fee placement, conversion base, and recipient amount are connected, so reading only one of them can leave the transaction incomplete. 4 fields make the fictional quote auditable. What exact rate is quoted, and in which units? When does that rate apply? Is the fee added separately or deducted before conversion? What final recipient amount is displayed? Those fields allow 2 illustrations to be compared on matching assumptions instead of comparing one provider's rate with another provider's all-in result. The plainline summary is this: begin with the same send amount, keep the currencies and timing consistent, show where the fee enters, and reconcile the final recipient amount. In Omar's fictional example, the route is AED 1000, then AED 980 after the fee, then 235 euros and 20 cents at the provider rate. The reference route reaches 250 euros, leaving a visible 14 euros and 80 cents difference. This is educational only, not financial advice.